Hello everyone. So here we are again with another session on creative and critical thinking, reading literacy. Today I have brought for you three tasks, very interesting tasks, based on which we'll discuss some questions and their responses, their correct responses, and also what not to respond with. So let's start with our first task, which is sustaining artisans economically. A wide range of beautiful handicrafts form one of the most significant traits of the rich cultural heritage of our country. They are not only the traditional arts of different provinces, but also form an important source of alternative income for the artisans. Almost 70% of our country's population residing in rural areas is directly or indirectly dependent on agriculture as the primary source of livelihood. In non-agriculture, in non-agricultural or lean seasons, handicrafts become an alternative means of subsistence for this population and safeguard them from food insecurity. In this way, handicrafts become an important source of livelihood for a large chunk of the Indian population. There were 68.86 lakh artisans as per the census of handicrafts conducted during the 11th Five-Year Plan. The sector provides employment in various forms to the artisans. This can be production of raw materials like motifs, production of finished goods, and their marketing. There is another subsegment of this sector employing another set of people. They are the people engaged directly or indirectly in export of handicrafts. The export segment of handicrafts is emerging as the potential source of foreign exchange earnings. Now, here is a graph. This graph shows the trends of exports. We are here talking about the Indian handicrafts and these artisans. So here is the trends of exports. We can see on the x-axis, different years are shown, and on y-axis we have the exports in USD million. So this starts from this. These are the records from 1998 to 2014-15, April to January. Figure establishes the fact that export of handicrafts reflects a rising trend and has a significant share in the domain of all India exports. According to government sources, it was estimated in the year 2015-16, the total production of handicrafts, including handmade carpets, was rupees 41,418 crores, and export of handicrafts was rupees 30,939 crores. The figures prove the role of the sector in the Indian economy. Now, this is the task, the first one, sustaining artisans economically. And now we have some questions based on it. First, let's have a look again at this graph. Okay, now let's move to the questions. The first question is, according to the figure, the increase in all India export of handicrafts from the year 1998 to 99 to 2011 to 12 was. According to the figure, the increase in all India export of handicrafts from the year 1998 to 99 to 2011 to 12 was. So here is the first question. According to the figure, the increase in all India export of handicrafts from the year 1998-99 to 2011-12 was. We have the graph here. You need to calculate the increase in all India export of handicrafts. There are four options given. You just need to calculate the increase in the export. I'm waiting for your responses so that we could discuss the correct one. Siddharth Tomar has requested to show the graph again. Why not? Here you are. This is the graph here. Okay, so responses are coming. Mahesh Singh says option B. Good going. Students, I'm still waiting for the responses. You need to calculate the increase in all India export of handicrafts from the year 1998-99 to 2011-12. Siddharth Tomar says B. Mahesh, Adarsh, Vishant, option B. Okay, okay, option B. Good going. Option B. Okay, Akshita says option A. Okay, okay, after so many B's, we have one option A. Okay, let's see what's the correct option. The correct option is option A. See, in the graph, we see the years that were asked were 1998-99 and 2011-12. So here, see the graph in 1998-99, it was 35,659.14 and it increased and it reached in 2011-12 to 30,400, sorry, 3,04,623.53. So the difference between these two, that means the increase you need to calculate. So the increase in this in the export, the difference between these two figures is 2,68,964.39 million US dollars. That's why A is the correct option. Let's move to the next question. List two evidences from the article that establish the growing importance of Indian handicraft sector. List two evidences from the article that establish the growing importance of Indian handicrafts sector. We learnt about this sector of handicrafts? Okay, so here are some responses. Siddharth says, as we could see, the handicraft sector plays a good role in our economy, which make the sector more important. Very good, Siddharth. The question is, you need to list two evidences from the article that establish the growing importance of Indian handicraft sector. Two evidences. So far, only Siddharth Omar has responded for this question. List two evidences from the article that establish the growing importance of Indian handicraft sector. Okay, so Siddharth has requested for the correct option, for the correct response. Let's see what are the two evidences from the article that establish the growing importance of Indian handicraft sector. So here are the correct responses. First evidence is that 68.86 lakh artisans as per the census of handicrafts were recorded. Okay, there were 68.86 lakh artisans. That is one of the evidences. Then handicrafts export shows a rising trend. Okay, it has a significant share in the domain of all India export. And then the export of handicrafts is emerging as a great source of foreign exchange earnings. So all these could be the correct options, correct responses, and you need to mention any two of these because two are asked to mention. And here partial credit will be given if only one evidence is given. Okay. And if the credit, if the response goes like handicrafts form the rich cultural heritage of our country or they represent different provinces, then these are not the correct responses and no credit will be given to such responses. Okay. So these are the available responses, correct responses. Any two, if mentioned, will make you get full credit of 2 marks. Let's move to the next question from the same task. Here we see there is a case. Okay, Raima. Raima goes to an exhibition of handicrafts with her mother and wants to buy a piece of handicraft. Her mother, however, refuses to buy as it is too costly. Raima still insists on buying it. What virtue do you think does she have? Okay. Raima insists on buying the handicraft. Her mother says that it is too costly, so she refuses to buy it. So we need to find out the virtue that Raima has. Here are the available responses, the options which you have: spendthrift, pity, empathy, pride. Okay. So some responses say A, some say B. Sangeeta says B, Ishika says A. We are here looking for the virtue that Raima has, as she insists on buying the piece of handicraft, which according to her mother is too costly to buy. Okay, so some responses are saying A and some are saying B. There is a tie, I think, between A and B. Okay, let's see what's the correct answer. The full credit will be given for option C, empathy. Here, when Raima insists on buying this handicraft piece, she is not showing pity. Okay, This is not a virtue of pity that she shows here. She shows empathy. Now, one more question from the same task. What efforts should be made by different agencies to sustain artisans economically? Okay, you need to mention any two ways, any two efforts that should be made by different agencies to sustain artisans economically. Any two ways. Okay, so I'm waiting for the responses for this question. What efforts should be made by different agencies to sustain artisans economically? So Siddharth says that they give work to the artisans to make products for them instead of robots and help the economically so they work without not so much problems. Okay. Okay, so Siddharth, in a way, indirectly, I think Siddharth wants to say to promote these um, artisans or to prefer these artisans over the machines. Okay, yes, it's a good way. Any other way that comes to your mind that these agencies should, make efforts how to help these artisans to sustain? Okay, Sangeeta and Ishika, you're so restless. Okay, let's see what could be the efforts. More exhibitions should be organized by government. We know that such handicrafts, such products, such items, such pieces, these are when exhibited in such programs, such exhibitions, then these get popularity. Okay, then financial aid by the government could be another effort. Then, yes, good, Siddharth. Then, promotion and popularization of their work through advertisements. We know that these artisans, they are not popular because they are not advertised. So, if some advertisements are there which promote these works of these artisans, then it could be a great help. Then there are NGOs, and these NGOs can also offer support to promote their traditional art. Then new programs for skill development of artisans could be another effort, and infrastructural support, implements and tools be made available to them. In this way, these are the These are some ways which could be the efforts by these different agencies to help these artisans economically, to sustain these artisans, to make these artisans sustain economically. Okay, and partial credit will be given if any one point is mentioned out of all these possible responses. Okay, now no credit will be given for the responses where the child says they should be given charity. No, they don't need charity, they need support, they need promotion. Okay, then they should be given fixed wages, and if missing response is there, then no credit will be given. Yes, correct. Savita also says we can promote this in articles in newspaper. Yes, they need promotion in the form of advertisements and on TV or in newspapers and all. Correct. So with this, we move to the next task, that is evolve to crack. This is about African elephant. Let's see what we have about this animal. Here, the intricate web of cracks and crevices that gives African elephants their distinctive look is, in fact, an essential adaptation. The millions of micrometer wide fractures in elephant skin retain mud and water after mud baths, helping the animals stay hydrated between trips to the water hole. Evaporation from the mud and water also aids the temperature regulation, vital because elephants, unlike many mammals, don't sweat. How the crevices develop has long been a mystery, but Michel Milinkovic and his colleagues may have solved it. Their research suggests that fractures form when the growth of new skin puts stress on the brittle outermost skin layer. The findings offer fresh insights into how elephants beat the heat. Okay, this we know about this mammal, African elephant. Okay, now see, this is the African elephant, and there are certain pieces of information. Okay, like bathing. To coat their bodies in water and mud, elephants collect liquid in their trunks and spray it onto their heads and backs. Okay, while they bathe. Then dusting. When water is scarce, an elephant will cover itself in dust, which, like mud, can shield its skin from parasites and sunburn. If you remember, there was a lesson in your book, Golu Grows a Nose. है ना? And in that, the importance of its trunk was given, if you remember. Okay, here we are learning about the intricate web of cracks on its skin. Okay, and how it helps while bathing or dusting. Now, based on this task, we have first question. The word fracture in this passage refers to. The available responses are broken bones, scar on skin, cracks on skin, or damaged skin. Okay, Joel Joseph says B, scar on skin. Broken bones, Arpan Sharma says. Okay, Anand says broken bones. Ragini says C, that is cracks on skin. Siddharth says C, again cracks on skin, broken bones. Okay. Some are saying A, broken bones. Some are saying C, cracks on skin. We are looking for the word fracture here. which was used in the passage. Okay, here you can see the word is given. Their research suggests that fractures from form when the growth of new skin puts stress on the brittle outermost skin layer. So most of the responses say C. Let's see what's the correct response. You will get full credit if you respond with option C, that is cracks on skin. Here, this fracture doesn't mean the breaking of bones, it means the cracks on skin. Okay, we are learning about the intricate webs. So here, option C is correct. It will help you get full credit. Moving to the next question. On the basis of the write up, mention two ways by which elephants regulate their temperature and keep themselves hydrated. So all those who responded with C were correct. Now here the next question asks two ways by which elephants regulate their temperature and keep themselves hydrated. Okay, so we get the first answer, first response from Joyal by bathing. Okay, good. You need to mention two ways. Okay, bathing is one of the ways. You need to mention two ways. One is bathing, then by playing in mud. Okay, yes, coating the body with mud is also an option, correct? Okay, so here we have two responses, bathing and then coating the body with mud. Okay, let's see what could be the correct responses. Here, by coating themselves with mud, by spraying water onto their bodies, and if you remember the fractures in the skin, they retain the moisture by keeping, and this helps them keep hydrated, to keep their body hydrated. Okay, Anika says by their trunk they spread water on their head and back, so the soil and mud will help them as protector. Good. By covering them with mud or dust, by spraying water. Very good. Siddharth, Anika, good going. Yes, Akshita says to put a coat of mud and water. Correct. Very good. Bathing and dusting. Correct. So these are the two options. These could be the two options, like any two if you mention bathing or coating with mud or the fractures that retain moisture and keep them hydrated. And then partial credit if only one, any one of these possible responses is there. Okay. And an irrelevant or missing response, no credit. Moving to the next question. Michel Milankovitch and his colleagues have unearthed an important fact regarding elephants during their research. What is the fact that has been discovered by these? How they keep themselves hydrated, how the fractures in their skin help them, how they keep themselves cool during summer, how they develop fractures on their skin. Okay, let's see what was the. Here is the write-up. Here the question asks about the fact that was discovered by this team. Okay, so options are coming with D. Most of them say D. D says how they develop fractures on their skin. Okay, let's see what is the correct option. The full credit will be given to option D. How do they develop fractures on their skin? So all of you, I don't find an okay. Sangeeta, once you said D and then you skipped to C. So D is the correct one. Okay, so here we see that this team discovered this fact how these elephants develop fractures on their skin. Okay, this task is also about that. Okay, with this, we move to a very interesting stories of 17 oranges. Okay, very interesting stories. I would like you all to read it carefully so that we could be able to discuss the answers. Okay, I will also read it for you in case the screen is blur. Okay, or if the font is like the font is size is too small to read. Okay, oranges. I love them. I used to eat them all day and every day. But one day, a policeman found 17 oranges in my pockets. He locked me up, and I have never eaten an orange again. I want to tell you the story. I was working for the Swift delivery company, and I often went in and out of the docks. I was not really a thief, but I usually left the dogs with something under my apron. I had made the apron myself, and it was a big one. When there was a banana boat in the docks, I drove my little chart beside it. Sometimes bunches of bananas fell to the ground. Often my friends kicked a bunch to me from the boat. I always picked up the bananas and quickly hid them under my apron. Then I spent the rest of the day eating bananas. I liked bananas, but I liked oranges best of all. I only took things when I found them. But some people planned a theft very carefully. Clem Jones was a careful planner. Let me tell you about Clem. One day, Clem was coming out of the docks. He was carrying a box. What have you got in there? Asked Pongo, the policeman. A cat, replied Clem. Please don't ask me to open the box. The cat will run away. A cat? Pongo said. I don't believe you. Open that box. But the cat will run away. Clem said again. There isn't a cat in that box, replied Pongo. Open it up. Clem got very angry, but finally opened his box. Out jumped the ship's cat. The cat ran back into the docks. Clem ran after the cat. He was shouting angrily. 2 minutes later, Clem came back with the same box. He was holding the lid down tightly. Pongo laughed and Clem looked at him furiously. Clem looked angry all the way home. Then he smiled. He opened the box in the kitchen and took out a large Dutch cheese. That was Clem's story. But I was not so lucky. Pongo, the policeman, caught me because my apron string broke. He noticed that my trouser pockets were full. Hey, wait a minute, Pongo shouted. He made me move the pony and cart to one side. Then he took me into his hut and looked into my pockets. There were 17 oranges. Pongo counted them and placed them carefully on the table. Too many people are stealing from the dogs, Pongo said. You've stolen these oranges. Have you anything to say? I said nothing. I was very frightened, but I kept quiet. I had read a lot of detective stories. I knew that the best plan was to say nothing. So you won't say anything, said Pongo. I'm going to bring another policeman here. He will be a witness against you. Pongo left the hut and locked the door behind him. I was very worried. I looked at the walls, I looked at the door, I looked at the 17 oranges, and I looked at the apron with its broken string. I'll lose my job, I thought. Perhaps I'll go to prison. What will my father say? What will my father do? There was no escape. I was locked in the hut, and the oranges were on the table. Pongo had gone to bring a witness. I was in trouble. Oh my God, I said. What can I do? Eat the oranges, said a voice in my head. Eat the evidence. Eat them? I asked. Yes, said the voice in my head. Eat them, and the evidence will be gone. Be quick. Eat them all. I thought for half a second. Then I took an orange, I peeled it, and put it in my mouth. Soon only the pips were left. You have to swallow the pips too, said the voice in my head. You have to swallow all the evidence. Yes, of course, I said. I swallowed the pips and put some of the peel in my mouth. Don't eat it, said the voice. There isn't time. Swallow it. Be quick. Swallow it. I took a small knife from my pocket and cut the oranges into large pieces. I swallowed the pieces of orange one after the another. There were still 3 oranges on the table when I heard Pongo outside. I stopped. My stomach was nearly full. Be quick, swallow them, said the voice in my head. I was lucky. Pongo and the other policemen had seen some carts at the dock gate. They went and talked to the drivers. This gave me few more minutes. I must swallow all the oranges, I thought. Only 3 left. I swallowed the first one and the second one. Suddenly, the door began to open. I swallowed the last piece of the last orange. Pongo and the other policeman walked in. This is the thief, Pongo said. I caught him with his pockets full of oranges. Then Pongo looked at the table. Where are the oranges? He asked. They've gone. Where are they? I can smell them, said the other policeman. I said nothing. Pongo looked everywhere for the oranges. He looked in my pockets, he looked in my apron, but he didn't find one orange. Finally, Pongo understood what had happened, but it was very difficult to believe. 17 oranges. He said 17 big oranges. How did you eat them all? I said nothing. Pongo was not able to send me to prison. There was no evidence. Pongo became angry and shouted at me, but I didn't say a word. In the end, he had to let me go. I told Clem Jones about the 17 oranges. Pongo locked you in that hut for half an hour, said Clem. He had no right to do that. Perhaps Clem was right. I don't know. I didn't have time to think about it. I had eaten 17 large oranges and I felt very sick. For a week, I was running to the toilet all the time. So this was the story. Now let's see what the first question asks. The narrator says, I was not really a thief. Why does he say so, even though he used to steal bananas and oranges? What do you think? Why doesn't he consider himself a thief if he used to steal bananas and oranges? Okay, so Siddhartha is the first one to respond for this question because he only took up the things which he found, he doesn't stole them according to him. Good, very good. Good going, Siddharth. Okay, any other response? Students, you need to understand this thing. This is not the way of, commenting, sending these comments here in the chat section. This doesn't look decent. If you're not interested in this session, please leave. Okay. Anika says because what he found, he only steal it. Okay. Ragini says because he took the thing which he found. Correct. Yes, he mentions that he took only what he found there. Good. Good. Okay. Let's see what could be the correct response. He believed that he was not stealing anything valuable. First thing, he mentions only about bananas and oranges. So he doesn't think that these are the valuables, and that's why he doesn't consider himself a thief. Then he took only fruits and ate them himself. Okay, he took the fruits only for eating and didn't sell them anywhere. So whatever he did, he didn't harm anyone. Okay, so these are the possible responses, like the for which you will get full credit. Okay, any other irrelevant response or missing one will be for no credit. Let's see the next question. Why does it think that he was not lucky? He feels that Clem Jones was lucky, but he was not lucky. Okay, now Shreya starts responding and she says, because he took those things, he found only he cannot steal them. He used to take only fruits. Okay, I think it's for the last one. Okay, Anika says because he had been caught by the policeman. Correct. Yes. Clem was lucky he wasn't caught by the policeman. Siddharth says he thought that he was not lucky because he got locked by the police, but in Clem's case, he doesn't get caught. Good, very good. Let's see what are the correct responses. Here, Clem would always make a plan to get away with his stolen things. Okay, he was never caught. The narrator was unlucky because he was unable to hide the oranges in his pockets. And that's the reason when the string of the apron was broken, all the like all those 17 oranges were uh, were found with the narrator. Okay, and the policeman caught him for that, and that's why he was not lucky as Clem was, who was never caught. Okay, good. Aniket also says he was caught by the policeman. Good, very good. So this was the session today. I hope you enjoyed the session. Okay, thank you for sparing time for the session. I wish you all the best for preparation of reading literacy.